Hello, welcome back, and this one is challenge 8, so let's read the objective. So, can't type users in, please see if you can fix. So let's open code sandbox, and in the meantime, let's look through it. So I see instantly there's an issue with user.map, excuse me. Okay, so line 29, user.map. So what user.map is, or what .map does, is it goes through an array, and for each item in the array, it runs some code, or does a function, or renders something. In this case, it says render user in a paragraph text, so whatever user would be. So let's go up to users and look at that to see why it's not. And instantly we can see that it's having an issue with map because map requires an array to work, and users has not been set to an array. So let's do that straight away, and yeah, it shows up. Now, has that fixed the problem? No. So when we type something in, it says that an object is being rendered. So let's go to the code that looks after things being typed in. So the input says on change, trigger the name change function. So let's go to name change, and it says it will set name to the value. The thing is, the value equals a object, and that's why it's saying it's a bit confused. But with functions, especially with unchanged input functions, by default it passes through an event. So an event is like a click or a key down, but on this one it's unchanged. So that would be the event, and how that's displayed is simply with E. Okay, so it will be something like that, or not like that if it wasn't already its default. So let me just bring that back. So yes, E actually stands for event, but we'll leave it as E. And the way we look into that is we go event.target. That's to target the things within the event. So let's see what that looks like. Target. So we type something. Oh, okay, a value is not defined. Let's ignore that for now. And this is the console log. It says the event.target is this, which is correct, the input field, and we can target the placeholder, the value, and the style. But at the moment, what we want is to target the value. So let's refresh this and input dot value, and we'll see what happens. See, I typed in S and then it came up. So that's what we want to set the name as, because what we type in here we want to register. Okay, so what we'll do is e.target.value. We don't really need this anymore. Okay, so let's see what happens. Stephen. There you go, so it's working. Let's try Mike. Okay, so there's a third problem. Oh, I'm typing an object. There's a third problem where instead of adding to the users, it just replaces only one user. So it doesn't go up at all, and this just keeps getting replaced. So what would we need to do? So let's look through the code and see what's happening to users, why it's not appending and why it's being replaced instead. You can see here, add user, it sets users and it just keeps saying the name, so that's why it replaces it. And what we need to do, it's very similar to the video we done before, where we need to go to the documentation and figure out how to push an item into the array. So we use the same code that we did in the last video. Here it is for functional components. So what we would do is, instead of saying set users in brackets name, we would go set, let me see if I can do this without actually copying and pasting. See how good my memory is. No, so this is to say, alright, so keep the old information in the array, and then at the ends of the old information add as the new information. So the new one would be name. So let's see if that works, fingers crossed. Jake. No. Set users, old array, name. Syntax requires. Well, I tried. There you go. Okay, so I didn't need to have those. We'll have a try. But it's the same thing, and now it should work. Jake, there you go. Mike. And as you can see, oh, that's not good. That should have worked. Sorry, I'm getting confused with the syntax. There, it should work now. Stephen. So make sure you copy and paste it the correct way, otherwise that will keep happening. And Paul. Oh, jeez. Paul. Okay. Sorry if that sounds a bit that sounded a bit confusing, but we got it in the end. All we have to do is make sure you copy the correct syntax, and then push it onto the array, and make sure that the name is the same as the e.target.value. Okay, you can see it's getting more complicated, and I'm looking forward to what comes next.